Confessions of a Cup Noodles Lover.
Welcome to the Carousel, where we discuss video games, movies, sometimes comic books, and whatever awful things we decide to talk about. With us, I have Randy.
Hello.
I have Jake.
You've clearly been doing this for 2 years.
I have. I got it. I think I've got it down. It's do I have a name? I don't have a name.
No.
It's John. I'm John.
All right, so winter is here, guys, and that's not a Game of Thrones joke. Like,
Not down here, boy.
it was like 75 last week. They're talking about fucking flurries on Saturday, which is probably the day you're listening to this.
Flurries.
Like snow.
Yeah, I know what that means.
Yeah, it's supposed to drop to 40 in Tulsa on Saturday too.
Yeah, we're going to have like a 30-degree drop.
That's some bullshit. So speaking of bullshit, if you want to hear our bullshit all week and hang out with us and talk about goofy shit and video games and comics and throw YouTube links to weird metal songs into our Discord, you should join that. We are the Carousel Podcast on there. Is that right, John?
On Discord, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Discord, huh?
So yeah, come join us. It's fun.
I should. I'm like 1/3 of this thing.
Uh-huh, yeah. I wasn't actually advertising it to anyone else. That was directed pointedly at you, Randy, and I'm pointing at the screen right now.
You know,
Message received.
Jake's kind of upset because there's one channel called Sports Sins, where he starts commenting on sports, and then inevitably another member of the community comes in, usually Late Elf, and tells him how lame he is for liking sports.
See? Come on.
He's not wrong.
Why do people gotta be like that?
You see,
Sports
if you
is fun, video games is fun.
If you just jump in there, Randy, then suddenly it'll be you two against one of our audience members. That's a fair fight. They will appreciate it and like you better for ganging up on them, because that's what audiences want.
And everyone will immediately turn off their push notifications. It'll kill the channel altogether. It'll be great.
Excellent.
I can't wait.
I'm kind of surprised I haven't turned off the push notifications for that already, but I'm in too many Discords, man. I'm in TVGPs and Bad Movie Fiends, and all of those people like talk a lot. So I'm completely lost in them all the time. I've resolved to only pay attention to the video games channel on Bad Movie Fiends because I can usually deal with that. And then on TVGP, I'm just lost.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll push. I get too many Slack notifications. I don't want a whole other pile of notifications.
That's what I think is nice about us. We're sort of smaller at this point, so and it's not like we all live on this thing all day.
Right.
So you might get 4, 5 notifications on a pretty busy day, or maybe like a group of 6 or 7 over 10 minutes, and then everyone goes to bed. So.
Yeah, it's just like Slack. You can click on any of the channel subjects and say, I don't want to hear about movies. Turn that off. Or,
Yeah.
Or, oh, hey, John has a Warframe channel. Let me turn that off like everyone else did when they joined this.
I downloaded that whole client because you were like, yeah, man, I'm going to play this, and you can play with me. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a chance. And I downloaded it, and it was like, it took like 3 hours more than it should have. And I was like ready to go, and you were like, yeah, I'm not doing it tonight. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to jump into this anyway. And I went into one mission and ran around for like literally 2 minutes. And I was like, fuck, I hate this game. I'm glad John didn't sign on because I'd be stuck playing with him for 90 minutes.
Man, okay. Way to not respond to me at all on chat for a week and then just bring it up on the podcast. That's cool. That's what real friends do.
Mm-hmm. Well, friends.
Also, your mom's dead. Did you know that?
Oh. I just saw her yesterday. She bought me a cabinet.
Oh, thank God. That came out of my mouth. I'm like, shit, if his mom is really dead.
Anyway, speaking of people dying apropos of nothing,
In cabinets.
I put these movies on my little, in the Trello. Jake's gonna talk about these subjects, and it was gonna be Cube and Saw. I was gonna burn through like all those movies because all the Saw movies came back on Prime, I think, or maybe Netflix as well. And then I saw all 3 Cube movies were on Netflix, and I was like, man, I haven't watched those in forever. And I know the Saw movies are all bad, and the torture. The first one's good, especially because of that ending.
The rest are crap.
Well, they're totally all crap. The second one's got its moments, but I think the traps are all clever, and I like seeing what they come up with. And then as soon as they go into the 5 minutes of like this one's peeling their skin off, then I go make a sandwich or something. So I'm gonna talk about these. And I started with Cube, and I got about half an hour in, and I was like, the way they treat mental health here is really kind of terrible because they have this guy who's supposed to be, I don't know if today we call him autistic or Asperger's or whatever, but they basically put Rain Man in the movie.
What era is that it came out?
2001, 1998, 99, around there.
Not like the Dark Ages.
No, it isn't. It's just it's real. You watch it now and you go, ooh, that's not great.
It doesn't age well.
Well, and they use some derogatory slurs for folks who aren't 100% with their mental faculties, and it's rough. For the time, it was very cool. The whole thing is basically on one set, and they just keep changing the lighting. So it's a very budget movie, and it had a very clever idea at the time where these people are locked in this basically a big giant Rubik's Cube. They're in one of the blocks, and you can go out any one of the sides or the ceiling or the floor. But some of the rooms are trapped, and it's them trying to figure out why and how to figure out which rooms are safe and stuff. And, of course, they all turn on each other. And for as clever as it was at the time, that shit doesn't hold up. So I ended up going, actually, most of this is terrible. But I remember Cube Zero being really good. I'm going to skip 2 because 2 got real weird, but I'll go watch Cube Zero. The flashbacks in that are just terrible, and I wrote that down, and then there's like a half an hour lapse between my next note, and I said, actually, you know what? Most of this movie is terrible. Thankfully they're much more sensitive to mental health issue, and nope, they retconned it. So it was just as bad as the first one. So I didn't actually get around to watching the Saw movies because that left such a bad taste in my mouth, but I did make it all the way through American Horror Story Roanoke.
Made it all the way.
All the way through. Because you guys know I'm a year behind on that stuff, and frankly, this is probably the last one I'm going to see, because if FX is still putting their shows on any of these services next year, I will be very surprised. Because they're a Fox subsidiary.
Yeah.
And Fox is just pulling the ripcord to get out all this stuff. I really like American Horror Story. I like the way that they shoot it. I like their concepts that they come up with as far as the actual supernatural elements or sort of the conceit of most of these. This one did not work for me. Did you guys see it when it came out or recently?
No, I have not seen Roanoke.
So it's another haunted house season. That's what I meant to say. And it's set in like colonial Virginia. That there's all these lost colonists that disappeared, and turns out that it wasn't actually in where everyone thought it was. There was on this property where this big scary house is now built. And it's about this couple that buys the house. But it's weird because there are different people playing the same character, and I'm trying to wrap my head around this and go, what the hell is going on? And you figure out a couple episodes in that you're watching like a Ghost Hunters style documentary, and there are actors playing the real characters. So it keeps flashing back and forth between the real people who were in the house, who bought the house, doing like a confessional, and then it'll show the actors who are portraying them in the house and doing all the stuff, but then these other people are telling the story from their perspective, and they don't really set any of it up to start with, so it's really confusing.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it, but I was willing to roll with it because the sort of ghost story type thing they do is very cool. And then they get halfway through the season, and it ends. And I'm like, okay, well, you guys, you got 7 episodes left. You just finished the story. Like, are you going to Texas Chainsaw Massacre this and someone's in the back seat? Like, what do you... And so then they cut, and it's like a year later or something, and it's them all... Like, it's a reality show, hidden camera thing set up, you know, a la Big Brother, where they're going to get the people and the actors who portrayed them in the documentary and put them all in the house during the same time of year when shit pops off. And it's just so confusing because it mixes the actors and you forget who's supposed to be who and who actually talked to who and what character. And it's real weird. I really love these actors, but I think it's time for this series to hang it up. I've not heard great stuff about the one that's on the air right now. I mean, if it's still on FX when it comes out, I'll watch it like I have been doing with Walking Dead, because for some reason I keep torturing myself with that. So,
Yeah.
But there was something pretty good on Netflix. John, I'm going to let you start with this one.
Yeah, so Patton Oswalt's new comedy skit, Annihilation, came out. This is his first stand-up since his wife died. And this is, like, his last one was good. But, like, I've kind of felt like the last couple, like, you know, he has, like, 4 or 5 of them out. I think this is his 5th or 6th one, right? And the 2 before this, I felt were not up to the ones before those, right? And I've kind of felt this whole year has been kind of a, like, Louis C.K.'s came out, and it was funny, but it was nowhere near the level that he's usually at. And Bill Burr's came out, and his was kind of like he was going for his normal, like, offensive thing, but just couldn't quite tie it up as nicely as he usually does, and it just didn't punch as well. And
Norm Macdonald, I know you liked, but I thought really kind of fell flat.
Well, you had no expectation there, did you? You don't, I mean...
No, which I would think would mean I would like it more. I mean, even Dave Chappelle's sort of, to me, we talked about it, felt like it really sort of missed the mark and was way late on most of the jokes.
I mean, I like the Dave Chappelle stuff, but, like, I mean, this was a good quality stand-up. Like, for me, like, good stand-ups have moments where you're laughing out loud. They have moments where they do a real nice reality moment, you know. That was something that, you know, Mencia might have stolen everyone's jokes and stuff, but he was usually pretty good about bringing a serious point into it, and Chappelle would do the same thing, and Louis C.K. would, you know, and that's a shtick in comedy stand-ups that I usually enjoy if it's pulled off right, and I think he does Patton Oswalt, I think, does a great job here. This is probably my favorite since his, the one where he does the joke about the guy ordering all the ham at the deli, but
yeah, this was definitely. I just watched it night before, and I you know, I wasn't laughing out loud the whole time. I definitely did laugh out loud.
Yeah.
It definitely takes a turn in the middle there when he starts talking about his wife, but it's still like, I mean, he's such an incredible comedian that he does find a way to make it relatable and funny and still convey, like, how crushed he was. I mean, he's got, what, 3-4-year-old daughter?
Yeah.
So, like, all that, and, like, he still somehow managed to take that awful tragedy. You know, they say tragedy plus time equals hilarity, and, like, you're missing that whole time aspect, because this shit happened, like...
Year and a half ago.
Yeah. I was still on Twitter. Like, that's how recent it was. But it's real good. It's not super long. It is set in Chicago, so it gets bonus points for that. But you wouldn't really know it aside from the crowd work he does. Which is, you know, crowd work usually seems lazy, like, let's fill up 10 minutes. But it's good crowd work.
I've never actually heard him do crowd work, except for that one recording he does where he bitches the guy out for being a heckler.
He did some... I heard him do crowd work. One of his specials was done in Austin.
He's good at it, and they certainly... I think the people he worked were plants, but I don't care. It was funny.
I take it back. One of my favorite... I forgot this existed until now. I got to look it up again. He did BlizzCon one year and started making fun of certain cosplayers in the crowd. I say making fun of them. He didn't like, he wasn't being the jock to whatever, but like there was some chick dressed like a dark elf that kept laughing at him, and he basically painted this picture of him having nightmares of this chick laughing at him. But it was that's a really good stand-up if you guys can find it on the internet somewhere. It's BlizzCon stuff, but
it works because he gets all the references. Like he probably knew what everyone was cosplayed as, so.
Ish, like he admits at the very start, guys. He's like, guys, I shouldn't be here. I don't play video games.
Yeah, but he knows the tropes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, he's into all the other dorky stuff, but it's
he's into comics and movies and stuff.
I think, and if you've never given one of his stand-ups a try, I don't think Annihilation is a bad place to start either. He's not one of these comics that ties in old jokes into his next set like some of them do.
He's not Jeff Foxworthy, yeah.
Patton Oswalt came out with a comedy half hour in 1997. I've been a fan since then.
I cannot claim that level of hipsterdom, but I can claim at least the last decade. So,
yep.
Well, that's I think I meant to get to it and didn't. They don't do one of those long intro things at the beginning where it's like, here's me riding to the venue in the cab, and da-da-da. It's
I hate those.
They pan down the marquee outside. It doesn't even have his name on it. It's just the name of the theater. And they show him walking out of his dressing room and walking onto the stage, and then you're in, and he's going. And it's, I want to say, like maybe 60 minutes. It's a tight set, and you can burn through it pretty quick. So give it a watch. You're not going to be out a whole evening.
Yeah.
Nope.
Quality entertainment.
All right, Butthole In.
Yeah, that ends our quality entertainment for a while here. I rented. I'm glad I didn't buy it. I rented South Park: The Fractured Butthole.
Okay.
Yeah, Butthole In, because that's what I was doing. I don't know that I have a ton to say that other folks, particularly Patrick Klepek over on Waypoint, I definitely sort of he kind of ate my lunch on a lot of that stuff since they're out twice a week and we're out every other week. But just a couple of things. It is still real hit or miss writing, but when it lands, it really lands. Everyone seemed to be excited that this one was 20 hours instead of 12 or so that the last one was.
I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of errand running in those games.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's a lot of little tricks you can do to up the playtime.
Yeah, there's a lot of errand running, and even when you get the fast travel, which is it is very funny that they have Jimmy on his crutches pretend like his character is Flash, so he's your fast travel system. So I mean, there are funny jokes in it, but even when you get that, like, there's no sprint button. It's just the slow sort of South Park, bobbing back and forth.
Yeah.
And you're just walking back and forth across these 8 screens, and you're going across the whole town back and forth delivering messages and MacGuffins and stuff, and it's just like, this, you guys could have shaved some time off of this, but if you're going to pay $60 for it, you're getting your time's worth. So
I really liked the Stick of Truth.
That had rave reviews.
I've been real nervous about this one since they ditched off Obsidian. I realize that now that probably Trey and Matt were just as much hands-on as they were rumored, but I don't know. Like when I read Patrick Klepek's thing, I watched South Park longer than he did. I actually quit maybe a season or so before they introduced PC Principle, and
same here.
I went and watched that first episode with him, and I'm like, I'm not really feeling this. And then when I heard they were doing the big serial storyline that one season, I tuned in for one of the episodes, because usually their election episodes are hilarious. And I watched like 5 minutes of this one. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm not feeling this. I'm out.
There were
Mr. Garrison was Trump.
Well, no, I got that part. It just like
you figured that out since he was painted orange and being a racist.
I know.
You put that one together, did you, John?
Yeah.
Buckle up, buckaroos.
Man.
There were maybe a handful to 2 handfuls of jokes that I didn't get, that I'm sure were references, because that's about when I quit watching. So it's kind of more of the same. The superhero stuff, I think, does work a little better than the quote-unquote, I was going to say medieval, the fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
The combat's definitely better. The grid system took some getting used to, but they do some really cool stuff with it, particularly when there's kind of a mid-game sort of big boss fight in the basement of the police station, which is a really good wrap-up to kind of the main... There's sort of, the initial problem that they bring up, the initial conflict. They wrap it up in sort of, the end of middle of end Act 2, and it's a really good boss fight, and I don't want to spoil it anymore, but the grid system is basically, it's a lot more movement involved, and it's used, I think, to best effect during that fight. It's a very small grid. I think at the most it's maybe like 5 up and down by 8, maybe 10 across. So it's very light tactic stuff, but it's good. But I played it on PS4, and there's some significant technical issues to it. I mean, it's not crunching, but like the frame rate's worse than it should be when you're walking around town. Like it hitches like it's trying to load the rest of the screen. Like it doesn't scroll smoothly, and it'll hitch, and then you get to the end of the screen and you'll be fine again. This is actually really funny. So like, they're playing superheroes this time, and Batman, Superman, Justice League, they all have their sort of video, kind of Dick Tracy sort of, face pops up and it's the commissioner, and Batman's answering him via video phone. Well, they're using FaceTime, via iPads and their iPhones and stuff to simulate that, which is real funny. But like the lip sync is off on that from the audio. And I thought maybe they were making a joke that, like, the people who were on Wi-Fi, so, like, the iPad people who were in the base or whatever, theirs wasn't, but then, like, people who were on their phones, it did. And I thought that would have been a good joke, but it turns out that, no, everybody just desyncs sometimes. It's also just broken. Like, sometimes the game takes a minute to figure out what happens after a turn ends, but then sometimes it just never loads. Like, what happened when I went to a boss fight towards the end, and it just froze the fuck up 3 phases into a very long boss fight.
That's annoying.
So now you just get to start over. There was a really good piece. So like, I didn't love this stuff. It didn't really work, I don't think, but I'm sure it was a joke from the series. As you go through the game, you can decide the difficulty is your skin tone. Everyone's beat that to death. But you can also decide, how you identify sexually, how you identify gender-wise, how you identify religiously. Well, they had told me to go see, is it Father Mackey?
Yeah.
Okay. They told me to go see Father Mackey at the church to, kind of figure out who I was religiously, and I don't believe in God. So Father Mackey told me to go down to the pond, and there was going to be someone special waiting for me. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to tell Jesus Christ that I don't believe in his dad. Like this, I cannot wait to see how they handle this. And then, nope, it just goes into this semi-racist Flappy Bird clone making fun of Kanye. Was real dumb.
It's the fish sticks joke.
Is he a gay
again.
fish?
Huh.
Yeah, he's an actual fish in this now, though.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he does at the end of that episode, is he goes to become a gay fish.
He puts on like an Aquaman suit and goes to live with the fish.
I thought he was just swimming around in his regular clothes. Okay.
No, he put on a special outfit.
What? He's there. The only nice thing I have to say about that section, because as Waypoint said, it is very late to the party as far as the joke goes, very kind of tone deaf and sort of kind of kicking someone that like already done got kicked. Like, and the guy, it wasn't hurting you. Like, what are we doing? The only saving grace for it, get it, is that the first time you play it, you have 3 hearts. You get hit 3 times, you got to start over. Next time they give you 5, and I was almost to where I was supposed to be, and then I hit like the last goalpost, and they're like, you know what, fuck it, you won, moving on. So like I'm glad they didn't make you do that until you could beat Flappy Bird, because it's not a fun game.
Right.
I don't know. I'm glad I rented it. I put 3 nights into it, and so it cost me $9 to play.
Yeah, I'm probably going to wait for it to go on sale and pick it up. like all the articles I've read recently on this new game has made me feel bad for it, but some of my favorite South Park episodes are those 3 superhero episodes where you have, Cartman teaming up with Cthulhu, and you find out Kenny's actual superpower, and
they actually work that in. You know what? I take it back. You eventually get Mysterion into your party for a little bit, and everyone's got their superpower. Well, when he dies, he actually keeps hanging around as a ghost, and he can still take actions and stuff. And then his superpower is to come back to life with full health.
Oh, nice.
It's like there's some really clever stuff they did. Just overall, I don't know that I can recommend that game at more than $10 or $15.
Well, we'll see. I have no time, and honestly, I guess the game you're going to talk about in a minute, the internet has talked me into picking up for my Thanksgiving game instead of Destiny. So I feel like all my time is. Oh man, I thought I was safe. I forgot about Randy. Maybe I'll still pick up Destiny. I don't.
Kevin and Joey have it, so you're off the hook.
Isn't there like 4-man fire teams now though?
Well, you could always be in a fire team of however many you wanted, but you could only take 3 into a strike.
Oh, okay.
But you could do 4-mans and do like PvP or just run around the zones.
Just have one guy has to watch the door.
Yeah.
Cover us. Watch the car.
Great. So a year ago, I backed a Kickstarter at a price I shouldn't have backed a Kickstarter.
You got a problem.
To be very clear, it went to a credit card, so it was a terrible decision all around. Except that the game is fucking amazing. It's a board game. For video games, I have a little bit of common sense, and then I research who's involved and question whether they can actually run a company and manage money, which is one of the reasons why I've never... Well, okay, I'm not a big fan of Double Fine games, but for the most part, like when that first one came out and they had all those physical rewards and stuff, I'm like, man, there's no way this guy knows what the hell he's doing. But then when, like I've said on here many times, Brian Fargo from In Exile comes on, like he used to run Interplay as a publisher, so he has experience with that stuff.
I feel like you should just start sending him checks directly.
Maybe. If he starts sending me Bard's Tale paraphernalia and Wasteland paraphernalia, I might. I would support the Brian Fargo Patreon, but obviously that dude does not need it, since the first time Wasteland went through, he put up $1 million of his own money to help make the game.
Yeah, he's probably doing all right.
I think so, if he can do something like that. But so this is just to say I am a complete hypocrite when it comes to board games and do very little research, and just was immediately sold on the video and some of the reviews of this thing. So I got in my copy of Kingdom Death Monster, the 1.5 edition.
The reason I didn't give a segue for you, because I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, I know we normally don't talk about board games on here, but I've been single player playing this. This is
It's so sad.
It's kind of I mean, it kind of
feels
functions
sad.
like a video game, to be honest with you. This is basically like the closest thing I can think to compare it to is shit, it left me.
The closest thing you can compare it to is shit.
No, that is not
What you said. We got on tape.
Okay, well, you got me. I really hate the game and wasted all my money. No.
Why are we talking about it?
But like
The closest thing it is to you were hinting at Dark Souls before we started. Is that accurate?
Well, I've been saying Dark Souls in my brain without meaning Dark Souls. Like it's
Now, are
like
you talking Dark Souls the board game or the video game?
well, I don't mean actually either one for comparison to Kingdom Death. Like you could, in that it's very well, no, actually this game has a surprising amount of hope for a game that's really about player mutilation and living in hell, basically. I can't remember the name of the game. There's a PC game, I think Darkest Dungeon. That's what I was trying to think of. Darkest Dungeon is the closest thing I can think to compare it to. Because it is a kind of very light dungeon crawling aspect to it, which is more just you set a bunch of cars in a row and draw them, and that'll tell you what event occurs. It's more about the boss battles in the game, and it is about building your base and trying to survive. Like it's a little bit of a story-based game in that your characters wake up basically naked on this stone floor. The stone floor is made out of all these masks, and there is a lion there that it just starts eating everyone. And so your first
What the Okay.
yeah. So your first task in the game is to beat the lion naked, and what you do is you rip off a piece of the floor that makes a dagger, and you have to try and kill it. The game is designed for your characters to die a lot, hence the village. The village gets you a steady supply of guys that don't have a bunch of disorders or amputated arms or things like that.
Are they all also naked? Is this illustrated?
There is some illustration. This definitely, like, it's not, like, okay, if you go and you do Google searches for images of this game, you will see some of it that are actual game pieces and then others that are called pinups. The pinups are the unfortunate part about the game, but they aren't actual game pieces. Like, this game is like kind of 50% for kind of board game, paper and pencil enthusiasts, and then 50% for people who like to build miniatures. And so they have this whole pinup section of just artists making these real fucked up, like, hypersexualized pinup things. Like, at the same time, though, like, the lion model is anatomically correct, right?
Okay.
But it's also like a monster lion, you know, like it's got like kind of people fingers with claws on it.
And its dick has teeth or something.
That, well, luckily the lion is not like that. And
You said it's anatomically correct. That's what I went to. This lion has a dick.
You went to this lion has teeth on its dick, which is not anatomically correct.
Clearly, you've never been to Africa.
Clearly. But it does, it is very kind of Japanese horror, like Alien, Hellraiser, you know, the everything is secretly a genital kind of thing, and like super fucked up sexual things. You know, like the alien head's a giant penis, you know, from Alien. But
I've never picked up on that. Is that true?
yes.
Randy, is that true?
They say that Alien is a rape metaphor. The whole film.
That cannot be true. I gotta go.
I don't
watch
think-
those movies again.
Look up a side profile of the alien head. The front of his face is where it would connect to the back of his head is where the penis head is.
I love watching you explain this. This is so good. I'm sorry. Carry on about
It's
your
back
about your
here. Anyway, so I love this game. Like, this game takes place over a period of like 25 plus years. Each year is a gameplay session and takes a couple hours where you hunt a monster. There are a couple random events that may happen, and they have a couple scripted events in the year calendar too. And your guys will get, like, it's at first like you're really kind of upset because your guys are just constantly getting shredded, but the reality is that you can take any number of severe injuries. So you could go into the fight and get an arm amputated, get an eye taken out, and still have your guy come out alive and functional. Like, they even designed it so, like, the paired weaponry that you can eventually craft in the game, like, the author specifically said he still wants you to be able to use that if you get an arm amputated.
Is it cheaper to craft then because you have to only build one?
Well, no, his example was that you were holding one in your mouth and one in your hand. Like, it's a game about extreme survival. And, I mean, again, you're basically living in hell. Everything in it is hell. Like, the second monster you can hunt is the screaming antelope, which is kind of like a deer, but, like, on the underside of its body is a giant mouth.
So are we talking literal fire and brimstone hell here? Or you're not using hell as a metaphor. You literally mean you're going around the underworld.
the game does not explicitly say it's hell. I don't see how this could be any other place. This is just some weird, like, hell dimension interpretation, you know? Like,
Okay.
I don't know. There may be a story reason that they let you know at the end, but, like as you develop your village and things like that, you'll come upon story moments where you can decide how to handle things. Like, the first time you, like, there's an event that you can repeatedly take that can lead to 2 of your party members becoming intimate and producing offspring. The first time it happens, you choose a society principle, and they have I don't know, half a dozen society principles. And this one you choose between survival of the fittest, where you just immediately start training the kid, and then he gets bonuses to certain stats, and everyone's a little bit crazier for it. Or you choose protect the young at all costs kind of thing, which instead of giving you better attack things attributes, it gives you better runaway attributes. But like,
Okay, I don't see how that protects the kid very much, but if you're just fleeing,
I don't know. But like as it goes, like you get more and more fucked up choices. So like the first time someone dies, like all the material making in the game, you use bone, organs, and hide. So the first time one of your party members dies, it triggers an event where you decide how you treat the dead. You can harvest their bodies for materials to make more weapons, or you can build graves and, you know, it does something else. Like the, from what I've read on the forums, the way it eventually plays out is if you do the whole value life, protect the young, like make graves things, what you actually do is you make a weaker settlement that just produces more numbers. So you'll always have villagers, but they aren't going to be as strong. Whereas you go the opposite way, you're going to have less villagers, but you know they're not going to produce as many offspring. It's going to be a smaller village.
so it's Zerg versus Protoss. I got it.
Yeah.
That's all you had to say, man.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm gonna Zerg rush this lion's dick.
Oh, jeez. The other nice thing is all the it comes with a couple pads, so like you keep track of all your village crap on there. Like your village has skill trees too that get you benefits as you play
Do
through
they
the
actually
game.
grow trees in the village that are called skill trees?
No, no,
Fuck.
no,
That you pick skills from.
no.
Yeah, these skills are not ripe yet. You must come back in a year.
No, they're basically called innovations. So like you, your first innovation is given to you, and that's language. And then from there, you can earn other ones either through story events or something else. And what it does is you have a random innovation deck that you build, and you can trigger something to draw the first couple and decide which one you want to take to see what benefit you get. And then every new innovation you get unlocks more innovations to put into that randomized deck, if that makes any sense.
Do you shuffle that every year? Is that how that works? So it's like you have more good cards that could come up that next year, or?
Well, it's just a consistent deck. So like when you only have language, there's only like that. Your randomized deck is only 6 cards because think of it as a skill tree, language, and then you have 6 things under it, right? So that is your randomized deck. And then once you choose another skill under that, it'll unlock, 3 or 4 more things you can put in there to choose from.
Okay, so you don't then just add all 3 or 4 next.
Right.
You don't add all 3 or 4 from the next tree in. It's just you're picking X number of these skills. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
They're basically just making sure you don't get like a really high end skill, early on. Like if you were playing. Okay, I don't remember any of the Diablo 2 skill tree, but you wouldn't want to get your final. Well, okay, you would want to
Frozen
get your
orb.
final skills immediately, but they wouldn't want to build the game like that. Just think about it like that, except it's more randomized. But
Okay.
But it's a super high quality game. I really, really, really like it. And if anyone likes board games and can afford the very steep price on it.
What was it again? I thought I heard you say it at the beginning, but I forgot it already.
I didn't. I was going to
Oh,
gloss over. It was. It's a $250 game. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Did you just spit take?
And I backed it.
I haven't had anything to drink since before we started. All that coffee is on my wall now for some reason. I don't.
And I backed it at the $350 level too.
Well, you want to get your money's worth, you know.
Man, did you get a wife?
Man, you can buy wives for $350.
Well, it's 350,000 rubles, but yeah,
Oh,
that's what the exchange rate comes down to.
yeah. It's an expensive game.
I've heard you can.
It's mainly that price because of the miniatures. Like they include, like I get what they were going for with it, in that they include like mix and match armor sets for player characters. So you can theoretically make your character look like whatever he or she is using. But you have to glue everything together. So and since your guys constantly die, I don't know why you would want to glue together this figure you always want to remember that you're only going to use in one game session. So I haven't decided what I'm doing with those. I'm probably just going to do the vanilla, just put them all in the same type of armor type of thing, like.
Or you could, I don't know how big they are, but they make that double-sided kind of sticky tape stuff. Would that work?
They are about, we'll say an inch and a half tall.
Okay, that's surprisingly large for a miniature.
Is it?
Inch and a half. Yeah. Maybe I'm making a comparison to the wrong thing, but that seems really big.
I mean, it's probably a little bit taller than a Lego person. So.
Okay.
Here, my Dark Souls game, like all the miniatures in that are like 2 or 3 inches tall. Like those things are huge. It actually plays a little bit like the Dark Souls board game, but I like the flow of it a lot better than the Dark Souls board game, because I like the Dark Souls board game, but it doesn't really feel like it has a point, whereas Kingdom Death has, that they hold the fruit in front of you constantly to go get the next thing or upgrade this or that. Like there's a lot of goals in the game and things to keep you going. Like
Dark Souls in cardboard or electronic form does not have goals. So yeah, that is a major difference.
I don't know. I mean the
go ring the goddamn bells. Go. Yeah.
Well,
slap you in the ass. Off you go.
I guess the thing the video game has benefit over the board game is the board game you don't explore. Like you have 6 static rooms. Like the game comes with 6 tiles or something like that, or 8 tiles, and they're all double-sided, and that's it. And like the rooms, and I mean there are a lot of encounters you can get in each room, but it does not feel like you're exploring a dungeon so much as let's kill all these monsters so we can get good enough equipment to fight this boss, which I realize is what the game is. But I guess I haven't really pinpointed it, but it feels like a little less pointless in the board game form. But anyway.
Cool. Well, I hope you play a whole lot of that, because you paid a whole lot for that.
I got it in last Friday, and I have played it every day since then.
Okay. All right. Well, if more stuff comes up about that, report back into us.
Here, let me put it another way. Warframe came out with an open world expansion, and instead of playing that, I've been playing this board game.
I mean, that seems like the reasonable reaction to me that any person off the street would make.
God damn it, Jake.
But,
oh my god.
I mean, that's fine. I'm glad.
Context, sir. Context beyond yourself.
Well, I know. It's me and the rest of humanity on this side of the fence, and then you're over there in the open world by yourself.
Warframe set their online player records. Like they were like number 2 or 3 on Steam. I mean, obviously they didn't touch Battlegrounds, but they were just under it, kind of thing.
It was probably a bunch of people like me sitting there waiting for people to show up, just going, I don't want to play this. Oh, thank God he's not feeling great. I can't believe I'm saying this. I was happy that you were feeling sick, John. I'm sorry. I'm a bad friend.
If you don't want to try things and just continue disliking it, you're welcome to. So.
Speaking of open worlds, I played The Evil Within. I took back South Park and then took out Evil Within. Everybody seems to really, really like the changes they made in this. I don't think I do. I kept it for 2 nights and then it went back. I think it's 17 chapters and I made it to like maybe the middle of 9, I want to say. What I liked about that first game is it was just sort of, the story made zero sense, like I went over and over and over last time I talked about it. It was just an excuse to basically, teleport you into different, very tense and scary situations. Again, way too many one-hit kills from bosses and stuff. But take those pieces out, with super scary-looking monsters, and, we're just going to drop you in a basement full of 3-foot deep blood. Have fun. Here's some spikes. It's really cool, and it really felt survival horror-y. And then in this, they sort of put you in a creepy, mostly empty town with some zombies walking around, and you just kind of have to sneak around the zombies, and there's sort of gear lying around, and there's crafting, and I'm not feeling it, man. The leveling up is a lot more intricate, and that's because it seems like you can probably grind if you wanted to. It's very easy to die if you get 2 or 3 of these things attacking you at once. So it's tough to do, but I'd imagine you could if you had the right gear and were good at the game. There's other characters that you're running into, and then they're in safe houses, and I don't. That's not what I'm going to that series for, and I understand why it makes that series appeal to people a lot more. I just not feeling it. I killed the first big bad guy in like chapter 7, and then they revealed who the real bad guy was, and I was like, oh, well that's crazy. I wonder how they wrapped that up. And then I put it back in the case and took it back to Walgreens. So,
See, and that's the game I really, I think I really want to play now. I've had all the kind of right friends and some of the right reviewers say the right things about it, and you saying that it really wasn't for you, I think means it's for me.
There's just it didn't. The tone and sort of the aspect of the horror doesn't work for me as much here as it did in the first one. Now, to be fair, when I quit, it was getting ready to have a huge tonal shift and go to this weird cult thing, which may really work for me. And I'm probably going to shoot, the enthusiast press in the foot by saying this, but like I will probably finish this game watching someone else play it on YouTube without commentary, because I feel like it took that right turn where I was almost ready to be like, this might be cool. There's some weird, like all that milk weird looking stuff from the trailer, that kind of wax stuff. That's starting to be a thing. Like I think they're going to reveal how that fits in. And then that the guy in like the priest clothes, the black guy and the bald guy from the trailer, he's like the weird cult leader looking dude, or it looks like he's going to be. And the voice acting is really good, even though the writing kind of isn't. I feel like they can really do some cool stuff with that, but because the first half, aside from it, there's creepy abandoned town, which they didn't do as well here as they did in the first one. And in fact, they did it multiple times in the first one, and I thought they were all better than here. And then, so like the main bad guy of the first half is like this artist, and his art is taking pictures of people as he kills them with this camera that sort of freezes them in time in a sense. So like he shoots some guy in the head, and then this camera takes a picture of it, and forever this guy is repeating being shot in the head, and it's that 10th of a second as his head is exploding. And he didn't feel that scary, and he wasn't that sinister, and he didn't have a great angle. And you're just kind of walking through these, not even mansions, but almost like museum-type looking things with like pretty curtains all over the place, and cameras set up, and spooky pictures. And they did too much of that for me to want to care anymore. So I am glad everyone else likes it. I don't know that I would have wanted an exact copy of the first game because there was a lot wrong with it. But nope, I'm done. I'm done with it.
Okay.
So by all means, John, play it. Tell me what you think.
I'm sure.
I would recommend trying it at Redbox for a night before you decide to wait to see if you want it on sale or something now.
All right, well, I mean, realistically, it's going to be Thanksgiving week before I buy another game. So it will probably be less than $60 then. Although I say that, Yakuza 0 has never dropped below $60, which is bullshit. I'd really like to pick up that game.
Yeah, I got a notification from Steam today on my phone. It was like, hey man, 4 of the games on your wish list are on sale. And I was like, sweet, thanks, Steam. And I open it up, and first thing comes up, it's like GTA 5. And I'm like, I'm finally going to get to play this game. And it's like 50% off. And I'm like, this game's like 40 years old by now. I mean, in a sense, I should be surprised that it even went to 50% off because they don't need to discount that game. But man, they just keep fucking teasing me because I would buy it at $20. And they're not going to get there.
They aren't. They all like money, and Steam sales are just nowhere near as good as they used to be, unfortunately.
Well, and they're in a position. I mean, they have fuck us money.
Yeah.
Like they don't have fuck you money. They have fuck us money. We're going to discount it to 50%. And you know what? You should be goddamn thankful that we did that because we don't need to.
There'd be a lot more games I would probably pick up and give a chance to if I could get for $5. But Steam doesn't want to give me that opportunity anymore. They want me to pay $20 at least. So,
I mean, you see some stuff for $7.50 sometimes. Like I could see Cuphead getting down to $7.50.
I have no interest in Cuphead. Good for you. I'm glad you are done with that game.
I just wanted to get it on record. I beat it. I went back. I'm probably going to try and figure out how to start hard mode on that because I thought it would just be an option when you started a new game. It's not. I'm guessing you need to probably get A or A+ rankings on everything before it opens up, but I don't know. It's one of those where if I have, say, a clicker, like Cookie Clicker, which I've for some reason gotten back into on one window or a Netflix or something, I'll play it on the other screen for maybe 7 minutes before I get mad and want to huck the controller and Alt F for it, and then I come back to it 10 minutes later. So it's good for that.
Okay. So I'll be brief on this one. They came out with Voltron, quote-unquote, Season 4, which was, I think, 6 episodes long. Season 3 was, I think, 6 or 7 episodes as well. They came out about a half year apart. I feel like this is a bunch of bullshit because they just are not... It's a really good series. I really like the storyline in it. I really like the characters in it. They had one humor episode that did not hit with me at all this season. I kind of wish they hadn't had that episode in there. My brother, I think, really liked it, but that's okay. I'm sure a lot of other people did too. This season was just way more serious than the others, and then you have this fucking piece of slapstick shit in the middle of it. And it's like, why are you killing your tone that you've built? This isn't even a reprieve. This is just stupid. Anyway. So this season manages to me at least, do a lot of serious, interesting things without actually moving the story forward, which is my big issue with this season, and why I'm now completely fed up with these 6-episode seasons that are coming out every half year. I wish they would just do a full 15 to 20 and do it once a year. I mean, I guess I'm glad I can just watch it all in one sitting. I mean, it's Voltron, so 6 episodes is 3 hours. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm actually, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm looking forward to the next anime that comes out from them, so long as it's Castlevania. I really, not a ton happened that first season, and it was maybe 65 minutes between all 5 episodes or something. And it was a lot of world building and setup and stuff. I want to see what they do with that, and I want to see some goddamn Frankensteins and something besides gargoyles. But I'm okay with them doing that model at least for Castlevania. I can see why it would suck for Voltron.
Well,
I'm okay with the 6 episodes twice a year kind of thing.
Well,
for
if they had a story arc that start and stopped within those 6 episodes, I think I would be happier. But they don't. They have an arc that doesn't end. So it's just really frustrating. It'll probably be, I don't know, January or February whenever the next one comes out, and I'm sure they'll continue on this every half-year thing. I can't tell if it's actually popular or not, but it seems like you can always find the toys in Walmarts and shit now, and it seems like a lot of people like it. I don't know. But
does it seem like they know where they're going with it at least, or are they just stalling to try and figure out what to write next?
I don't know where they're going, so I can't comment on whether I think they know where they're going, but none of it strikes me necessarily as bullshit. Like, it is all really good character building and universe building and kind of moving forward in interesting ways in a lot of places. It's just not enough, like...
Okay, but you watch a lot of media. If you can't tell that they're going somewhere, then they aren't going anywhere.
You don't think so?
Did you watch Ozark?
No.
Okay, well, you should watch Ozark, but that's an aside.
Look, I have watched all the WB superhero shows, and I've stopped watching them because they don't know where they're going ever at any time. They just have a very loose idea and do a piss-poor job of getting there. And, like, Voltron is by the Avatar The Last Airbender crew, right? Like, this is a really high-level writing team. And they have really good, well, except for Hunk, deep characters. Hunk is not a deep character whatsoever. Okay, no, I really don't expect them to fill him out, but...
He's already filled out, am I right? Because he's heavy?
Oh.
He's a big guy. No, I mean, why I brought up Ozark is you can tell when something is tightly written and each... if not necessarily each scene, each show, each episode pushes things along. And if that's not there, I feel like you would be able to see it. So I feel like maybe you're just kidding yourself and you want it to come back, but it's not gonna.
The first season was really good, and the second season was really good. And this third and fourth isn't bad. It just hasn't... They want to do a bigger story arc than they have time for. Granted, this is not a show that's written as... Like, I haven't seen Ozark, but I get the feeling like you'd probably find that comparable to something like Westworld, which I think is expertly crafted.
No.
No?
No, I mean the season. There's only one season out so far. I mean, it does stand on its own, but it is definitely not a. Here is your whole story that is split into 10 episodes, and with Westworld they're going to continue it somehow. With Ozark. I'm sorry. I meant to finish my thought. With Westworld, they are going to continue it for some reason, but when those credits rolled at the end of episode 10, it was like, all right, that was a complete story. Right. For Ozark, they're writing it to be across multiple seasons. If it ended now, that would be okay, but that's not how they're writing it.
Oh yeah, no, they have not written Voltron so that if it ended now, it would be a satisfactory ending. So.
Well, for your sake, I hope it gets better. I don't know if I'm ever going to get back to it, even as pretty as it is.
That's fine. I like it, so you probably won't. So,
well, Randy, we got some time for releases if you want to hit them.
Hey, all right, let me get on there. Let's see, November 3rd, I guess. Yeah, that's next Friday. Anyway, that doesn't matter. We got the Call of Duty World War II. They're bringing it back to their original spot. PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4. I don't know. This might be one I asked for Christmas. I mean, how many times can I storm Normandy?
Well, and I mean, in this case, you have Destiny for your online sort of, shooting things.
Well, it's true, but I absolutely hate the PvP in Destiny.
No, but I mean, just your get home from work and screw around, shooting stuff for 2 hours before bed or whatever.
Yeah, Destiny PvE is probably the best PvE shooting experience there is, but the PvP is terrible. So I don't know. I might get Call of Duty World War II. Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. It'll go on my Christmas list.
I played in that beta a couple of weeks ago on the PC, and it was like it took overnight to download, and it's like Sunday morning. It's like 11:30. I'm like, all right, let's do this. I haven't played Call of Duty since I haven't played multiplayer. I don't think ever in Call of Duty. I'm gonna try this out, and I was just getting sniped from across the map.
That sounds like COD.
With like not even with sniper rifles, just with like he's got I don't think they had saws, but like heavy machine gun, pook, I'm dead. And
the last one they did was World at War, and they managed to they retconned it in so that you could have like red dot sights on your on your Tommy guns and stuff like that, and it was ridiculous. So maybe they're doing that again.
Well, from what I can tell, this stuff, unless he was like way leveled up, because I don't really understand that system, because I didn't put enough time in, because after 3 matches I was like, fuck this, and just uninstall.
Yeah.
But, it definitely feels like the kind of game that people are looking for when they want to play multiplayer on that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. If other people I know get it, I might. I'm not super stoked about it. Then we got Horizon Zero Dawn Frozen Wilds DLC on the PS4.
I am fucking in.
I know. I'm awful. I bought that game like the day it came out, and for some reason it just didn't grab me, and I'm like still in the second zone.
Oh, wow.
I got stuck in
when you say second
one
zone,
of the dungeons.
When you say second zone, are you talking about green and mountainous or deserty?
It's green and mountainous.
Ooh, boy. Okay. Because the desert
like
spot
barely
is where I
played it.
sort of went like, I'm not liking this.
Right, I picked it up again, and I got down into one of those furnaces or whatever they call them, where they make the robots, and I'm in this boss fight that I just can't beat, and I don't want to back up and do it all again. And anyway,
you can beat him.
I like the flavor of it. I love the idea of the game, but playing it just doesn't grab me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I absolutely adore the game, so I'm really excited about it. Whenever I ran into furnaces that I couldn't beat, I would spend about 5 minutes laying down every single trap and bomb I had.
That's what I need to do.
And then you just got to find, one of their weak spots and get good at dodging their main attacks. And is it the T-Rex one?
I honestly don't remember. It's been a long time. But no, I mean that seems great. I would get it had I beaten the game. But since I haven't even beaten vanilla version yet, there's no reason for me to get the DLC.
It is an acquired taste as well. So don't beat yourself up for not getting way into it, because that combat, especially if you're not. I mean, say it about everything.
Cumbersome. I thought
it's Dark Soulsy. You got to watch for tells and dodge and melee, and even the arrows and stuff. Until you start getting a good chunk of variety as far as your ammo types, it's real tough, because those bastards move real quick. So it's definitely, it can take some getting used to. So I would very much encourage you to stick with it for another 3 hours.
Yeah, I'll pick it up again.
I mean, the key to that game is juggling your weaponry. Even if you have 2 bows, that doesn't mean that they do the same types of damage.
Right. I know. I have a regular bow, and then I've got a snipey bow that's good for long range stuff, and I've got electric traps, and I've got all that sort of stuff. I got through the furnace no problem, but the boss fight is just eating my lunch. Anyway.
Well, and there may just be a certain weapon that he's really susceptible to, but I had a couple of those furnaces I went to way early and was stuck in for a bit, but
I think that's what I did.
It's very easy to do.
I got to them too early. I have a tendency to do that. That happened to me in New Vegas. But
just think about the rewards. After you beat that furnace, you can then mind control that robot dinosaur type.
Nice.
You can ride them around.
These are just those little
a bedecked lion.
This is the lookout ones that look sort of like a little velociraptor.
Really?
But they're not that. Yeah.
Are you at the beginning of the game? Because that's what that sounds like to me.
Yes, I'm at the very beginning of the game.
You couldn't be
clear.
They don't have one that's just watchers, do they? Oh no, these are the ones that are that turn invisible, right?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's just the watchers. I think it's the watcher furnace.
It can't be that. Is there a watcher furnace? There can't be. Because if it's the watcher furnace, that's the very first furnace.
It's the very. I'm not kidding. I'm stuck.
You can't
on the
beat
very
the watchers.
first one.
You just
It's
hit them
not
in the
a watcher.
eyeball and they die.
No, I can kill them. There's the boss at the end of it. That's not a watcher.
Yeah,
okay, then you're not at the watcher
He's a big
one.
dude, yeah.
Whatever. We've gone on too long about this. I'm very much pro Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm just not very good at it. It frustrates me.
Okay, it's okay.
But it's a fantastic, beautiful, wonderful game. And I mean that. November 10th, Doom coming out on the Switch.
Yeah, that's just a notable thing. That's one more thing for Switch people to be happy
Does
about.
the Switch have the gears to grind that game?
From what I'm hearing, it kind of does.
I think they got it stable around 30 frames per second, I think is what they went for. But they're selling it for like $60. And like,
This is a year-and-a-half old game.
yeah. So, like, that bothers me. But maybe, like, the thing is like, in my mind, no one would own a Nintendo product who doesn't either own an Xbox or a PS4. But that's also not true. I have a friend in real life who literally has only bought Nintendo bullshit for the past decade. No matter how much he would like other stuff, he just wants to take things...
Fanboy, huh?
Well, and here's the thing.
I wouldn't have
People
normally said so, but maybe a little.
I wish Nintendo would just keep up with the other guys, because I love Nintendo IP, and I love their games and they're fun, but they just keep lagging behind in the hardware department.
Switch is still a nice system, even if it doesn't match Xbox One and PS4 spec.
I'm thinking about it. Now that they're
Well,
like,
that's-
what, $300? I might get
That's
one.
not what they're going for. And like, Doom, as cool as it is that it's coming out for this system, that is not what people with Switches are playing. We
You're
skipped
right, it's
releases last time, but you got Wolfenstein 2 coming out tomorrow, which is not going to be on Switch to my knowledge, but they're getting Mario Odyssey.
I'm pretty sure they're bringing Wolfenstein. They're bringing one of the Wolfensteins to Switch.
It's probably the one that came out 2 or 3 years ago, and they're going to charge you full price for it.
Well, okay, the first thing I pulled up was Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, is coming to Switch. So,
Okay.
Right away, like on launch date or later?
2018.
Yeah, there you go.
So literally, it's going to be New Year's Eve of 2019.
Yep, okay. So, 27th, tomorrow comes out Jigsaw.
Yeah, again, because we didn't get to do releases last week, and this week we have time. I'd watch another Saw movie. I just, at this point, I'm interested to keep seeing, because Jigsaw, the villain, has been dead for like 3 movies now,
Yeah.
and they're not doing prequels, so I keep wanting to go and see, like, how do they justify continuing all this goofy bullshit? It's not going to be a theater view for me. They're not getting $15 or something for me to go see this piece of dog shit. But yeah, I like that stuff because I'm stupid.
Polished turd. And then on the 3rd, we got Thor Ragnarok, which I'm excited about.
I'm excited about too.
I did not dig on Dark World very much, but Ragnarok looks fun.
I didn't think Dark World deserved all the hate it got, but it's certainly not one of the better Marvel. I mean, I thought it was fine, but it's
Thor on the whole is one of the weaker series.
yeah,
But
Which is
first
crazy
one's
because
good.
Chris Hemsworth is so good.
yeah.
Well, I think he makes Avengers. I mean, they all do, but I think he shines in Avengers, but in his own series, I don't know. It's good, but it's not like it's no Iron Man, it's no Cap, you know. But
Well,
that's a
that's-
high bar to meet.
That's why this looks like it's gonna be kind of. I mean, maybe. I've never been super into the Thor movies, but this looks like it might be kind of the best out of the 3 because you have Hulk in it. So there's someone, when Thor's being super serious, he only needs to be super serious, so it makes it awesome when he's jovial and cracking jokes and just being like goofy Viking, like. Where he's just drinking Stein after Stein after Stein of beer. Like
Another, yeah.
that's it. He needs to be serious in his own movies to make those moments work, and that makes it worth it. But like here, I think you might be able to get like best of both worlds.
Could be.
I-
And I'm always down for I'm blanking on the guy's name, but the guy who plays Loki. I'm always down to watch him. Tom Hiddleston?
Yep.
Yeah, he's always a shining beacon
It's
of hope.
amazing how memorable most of the characters in the Thor movies are in their roles, but just how the movies themselves are not anywhere near as good as they should be. Like,
I mean, they're bringing star power. They got Rene Russo. They had Anthony Hopkins. I don't know if he's going to be in it. Probably not. He totally died in the first one, right? Oh. Didn't he die in the first one?
I think he died in the second one. But we really don't know, because Loki's taking his place on the throne, right?
Mm-hmm.
Looking like.
Oh, right, okay.
If you're looking for Tom Hiddleston stuff, Randy,
I'm going to check that one out.
I think it's probably still on Prime. It's called The Night Manager. It's got him in it, and it sounds so boring, but it's basically it does.
I thought you were trying to sell me on it.
It sounds terrible, and the first 15 minutes is like, is this 4 rooms? What the fuck am I watching? But it's actually, it kind of comes out being like he's basically playing. This is not associated with the franchise at all, but he's basically playing a James Bond character.
Like a villain?
But no. He's playing like James Bond.
Oh,
but he's got to be like undercover and doing like mafia shit. It's real good. You should watch it. It's 6 episodes. You could burn through it on a Sunday, if it was raining out and you wanted to kill time or something. The Night Manager. It's good.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go see Thor Ragnarok. We'll report on it. TV, October 28th, the David S. Pumpkins Halloween Special.
Why are they making this?
I'm going to see it, man. If they got Tom Hanks, I'm going to see it.
It's not funny.
You didn't like that? You didn't like the skit?
No. It wasn't even funny the first time. Like the face that Tom Hanks makes is funny because he's Tom Hanks and he's a wonderful person and he's lovable. And I don't know that there's anything he could ever do that he would not be good at aside from like maybe dunking over LeBron. But what the fuck are we doing turning this into a whole TV special?
Well, that's sort of the SNL modus operandi, isn't it? That like you take something, you run it into the ground, or like you take like Ladies Man. Ladies Man never needed to be a full-length movie.
Okay, stop right there. The Ladies Man movie was fucking fantastic.
I know, but that's actually one of the best ones.
Yeah, I was about to say there's so many great bad examples for this.
Well, they made one with the Mary Catherine Gallagher. Was that the character's name?
I don't remember.
You don't remember that one? She was that Catholic girl that would like sniff her fingers, and they made
one
movie.
Yeah, the cheerleader one with Will Ferrell. Yeah, super cool. No, Superstar.
Different one. Yeah, but that wasn't the cheerleader. Anyway.
Oh,
that's a good example.
Was it? Anyway, right. She would.
She was like this really uptight kind of.
Yeah. She would stick her arms in her armpits and then smell them. I still think that's Superstar. But you're right, it's not the cheerleader one.
But she was not the cheerleader character. That was Sherry O'Terry, and I cannot remember the name of the actress who played Mary Catherine Gallagher. Anyway, I don't know. I'm going to see it. Screw you, Jake. David S. Pumpkins is awesome.
It's your time. It's your life. You don't get any more of it, but if that's how you want to spend it, then you can piss those minutes away with David S. Pumpkins.
So what's funny is like my Twitter, when that episode came out, my Twitter feed just exploded with that shit. And I had no fucking clue what it was about. And then I went and watched the skit, and I'm like, oh, really? That caught fire? Okay. And then about half a year later, someone mentions Tom Hanks as David S. Pumpkins, and I thought they were full of shit. I did not think that was actually Tom Hanks.
You didn't think that was Tom Hanks?
I had to go back and watch it again because I did not recognize him. I was just...
No, that's great. The skeletons are part of it. No, come on. That's awesome. You're all right.
I will not come on. I will not join you on this journey to stupidity.
Randy, a good chunk.
I'm the only one who's going to be watching.
That's what the S stands for. Stupid.
Know that a decent chunk of our audience agrees with you. I'm fairly certain. So
well, good. They're all smart, and you two are dumb.
There's actually one of the only good skits I've seen recently. Have you guys seen the It skit with
with Kellyanne.
Kelly Wise the clown?
Yep.
Oh my! What is that actress's name? I forget her name.
Crap.
She plays Justin Bieber. She was in the David S. Pumpkins bit.
Yep.
She was the blonde lady in the new Ghostbusters movie.
I know. I love her. I can't think of her name though.
She is incredible. Just the like I know they did cuts, like they, it was a pre-recorded thing, so they edited it, but just the range that her voice is just so rubber that she can go from doing Pennywise from the new It movie to doing Kellyanne Conway with her voice.
Yeah, it's a good
good
impression. Kate McKinnon. That's right.
Yeah, that's it. I really like. She entertains me.
She's amazing.
She's a little over the line sometimes, but it's worth it for when she hits.
The best skit probably in the last 2 or 3 seasons was actually the season finale of the last season with The Rock, and it's a most evil invention competition, and you need to check that on YouTube as soon as we're done with this. Most evil invention competition. It's the best. Okay, right. Enough of that. Streaming November 10th. Lady Dynamite season 2 on Netflix.
I don't know if anybody cares about this on the cast. I just know that people who like Maria Bamford really, really like her. So if you really, really like her, I don't, but she's a real completely up your alley or completely not up your alley type of comedian. So if you like her, here's your notice that she's got more stuff coming out.
Lady Dynamite.
I've tried to watch her stand-ups and tried really hard to like her, but she doesn't hit the most I enjoyed her. She was the chick who played Louis C.K.'s kind of semi-abusive sex buddy for a bit on his TV show, wasn't she?
That was her, and she was also in Arrested Development Season 4. She played the lady who played Sue Storm in the musical of the Fantastic Four.
I did not make it through.
Brunette chick with the husky voice?
Huh? No.
Oh.
No, she's a blonde chick that uses funny voices.
Well, I am not thinking of the same person.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't make it through all of Season 4 of Arrested Development.
Boy, it was a rough one.
Yeah. So
that's the one they came out with later, right, on Netflix?
Yes.
Yeah. See, everyone told me I would like Arrested Development, and I tried to get through it. I don't know, it just didn't grab me.
I think it gets a lot better second season, but it still is that kind of everything's awkward type of humor that is kind of old at this point.
Yeah. I like all sorts of different humor, highbrow irony. I like slapstick. There's tons of stuff that I like, but I don't know, that one just didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
It is okay.
You know what's not okay?
Not liking David S. Pumpkins. That's not okay.
Twitch has added loot boxes with temporary...
you're skipping over me, motherfucker?
Oh.
Oh, you were trying to segue.
Are you playing me off?
Oh, goddamn. Okay, I'm sorry. This had something about... I can't even read it now. My brain doesn't care so much. Okay, go on.
The bright pink and neon green labels didn't jump out to you? Speaking of something that's not okay, you're going to edit that out in post, right, John?
Or 2K.
GameStop is doing weird, gross shit with 2K. So everyone's complaint about 2K this year was that the progression for the single player took way too long. You needed to play way too many games to get any kind of meaningful currency in order to level up your dude. Well, I got an email from GameStop. I'm sorry, it wasn't from GameStop. It was from NBA 2K advising me to buy a copy of the game from GameStop because I would get an additional 250,000 VC, which is virtual currency, which I don't know how much that actually ends up being, but they said, it's get it double from there. So I guess you start out usually with 250K or something, maybe. But it said it was an additional $60 value. So if you're selling this stuff for $60 so it's basically, what's the math on that? Like $4,000 per dollar, give or take. Now, I might be an order of magnitude off, but the fact of the matter is, if you're selling this amount for $60 and you can kind of afford to just give it away as a special, via GameStop. And then on the other hand, you have this balancing problem of how long it takes you to progress. It's the same thing with all this loot box shit. If I start even doubting for a second whether you're on the up and up or not, if I start doubting it, you've already ruined it. And then something like this shit comes along, and whether it's true or not, to me, this confirms it. And it's I'm not buying an NBA 2K game. I mean, not that I ever really bought them at launch, but I'm going to be a lot more hesitant to even think about picking one of these things up at all going forward because of shit like this. So, speaking of stuff that's bad when it comes to loot boxes,
So,
Frame.
Twitch has added loot boxes that have temporary emotes. Just like a temporary Halloween like presentation that you buy with digital currency that you can buy with real money.
So it's bits. Do you know how bits work?
I don't.
So it's something you give money to Twitch to buy these bits. Bits isn't like pixels. And then you can donate them to streamers, and that's sort of a Twitch gets their money, and I don't know what that ends up doing for streamers, but I think there's some way they can convert that to actual money. So like it's in this case you're buying these bits from Twitch and then donating them to streamers, and then you get loot boxes based on how many you donate to these streamers. And there's what 6, 7 emotes, something like that. And those there's I don't know, around there. It's not a ton. It's 6 or 7. And if you get all of them, you get a permanent emote. Or you can pay $50-something for this thing, or all these things just go away at the end of the year, or like the end of January or something. So it's like Twitch just is now selling temporary emotes. That seems real shitty.
Yeah. I don't understand why anyone would participate in it, but this is also similar to the Valve badges thing. I don't understand why. I mean, I guess Valve kind of rubs your face in it with their constant notifications on the bullshit, but, like, I don't understand how people can, like, why, okay, I guess I'm not, like, constantly watching Twitch streamers, so maybe I just don't fucking know. It just seems like an odd thing to fall prey to.
Well, and also emotes are not something that I would ever use in Twitch chat. But there are people who just will spam that kappa all day long. They're just spamming kappas. And I guess this is for those people, but it seems predatory. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's bullshit. I hate it. I have always hated loot boxes. At first, well, I say that. I've honestly never spent any money on them until this year. And the only time I spent money on them was basically on some Marvel's Avengers Academy, basically. Although I guess technically every time I summon something in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, it's a loot box.
But there's context. For something like Hearthstone, it felt okay because it's literally a card game. And, people could buy packs, and I never have. I paid for the single-payer stuff, but I never bought a pack. But it always felt okay because that's how people play collectible card games in real life. It just, when it's...
Yeah,
it just feels gross in almost any other context, and I hate it.
Hopefully they'll
That's how they did loot in the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. You remember that?
I never spent money
boxes
on that, though, and I got like 90% of the characters.
Well, yeah, I didn't like loot box as a loot system.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree 100%.
Because you and I played a lot of that, and I didn't get very much.
You got one of the classes I never got. I think I was missing like 4 classes or something at the end, and
Oh, probably, but I mean that's the randomness of it.
yeah. And I've been trying to think if, like, I know Warframe has card packs in it. I've never bought a card pack because, I mean, those just drop from the game. I don't understand why you would want to waste money in that aspect. And I know every time you fight a boss, what they drop is randomized, but that's every RPG video game just about ever. And it's not like you can pay money to get that boss's, like, to get a randomized version of that boss's drop every time you put money in, Like, you can pay money to buy a Warframe, but if it's a Prime thing, then you can't directly buy that from the game. You have to trade for that in the market or something, but...
See, now I was going to say that's probably the only way I'd ever get into that game is if I could pay someone to not have to play it. Like, that's... Fuck yeah, I'm alright with that. Here's my card.
So they've been doing this cool thing on with
Just pushing through.
Yeah, they've been doing this cool thing with Twitch and Warframe and Amazon Prime. So the Amazon Prime, if you link your account between Amazon Prime and Twitch Prime, which is completely free so long as you've already paid for Amazon Prime, Like, not only right now will you get Frost, the Frost Frame, which is a really good Warframe, and one you will use even at in-game times. You can now get, arguably, one of the best weapons in the game, the Soma Prime. And this is all just free for just clicking on the links for the Amazon Prime loot drops. But the other thing they're doing is, since they've released Plains of Eidolon, is you can follow any of the sponsored Warframe streamers, and as they complete certain challenges, okay, you don't have to like literally click the follow button, but if you were watching their stream and logged into your account that is linked to Warframe, they have a system where if the streamer completes a certain challenge, then you will get items. So
they do that in Dota.
So I tested this out and just left 4 windows open last night of Twitch to see what would happen, and I received 112 items.
Huh.
So
see, it feels gross to me when people want me to link accounts. Like when Amazon wants me to link to Twitch, I get it, because doesn't Amazon own Twitch now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I get that. I'm not going to do it, but I get that. When they want me to link to a completely different game and like just cross-pollinate all this information, it feels very Facebook to me, and I'm like, what's your angle here, guys? And
well,
I have no interest in doing it.
Well, 1, Warframe already has your email. 2, they already have some sort of password for you. 3, if you've ever spent money there, which I have, then they already have my payment information. You know,
I know I'm being a weird conspiracy theorist asshole here, but it just...
And 4, they have your IP address, so they know where the fuck you live.
Well, they don't know where you live, because IP addresses... Every time you connect to the internet, your IP address isn't the same unless you have a static one, which you have to pay extra for.
Well, the point is they can trace where you connected from. And they could, if you do something
yeah,
they don't like,
Northern Illinois.
They can email your provider, and your provider knows exactly who you are and who did it, and can tell them exactly what what person this set of data matches up to. But I think we're splitting
I'm trying to
hairs
say
here.
is Warframe does not need more information about me. But, and it's the same thing as if Blizzard wanted me to connect my account. They can fuck off. I have a Blizzard account. I will use the Blizzard account. I don't need all this stuff connected.
You think Warframe is collecting shopping data on me or something now?
No, I don't need one login for everything in my life. I don't need my Warframe to be connected to Twitch, to be connected to Trello, to be connected to Twitter, to any of this shit. That's why I have accounts for this stuff. Like,
I mean, Warframe gives away prizes on their, like they do their weekly Twitch streams where they have 2 of their community leaders just kind of play the game for a bit and show off some fan art. And then they do their every other week developer roundtable where they tell you what they've been working on and how they've reacted to certain criticism and if they're doing anything about it. And during those, they will give away platinum. So now I would assume that with those things linked, they can just directly upload the platinum to your account without you messaging them. But
they probably could. I feel, which is weird. I have zero problem with Dota. Like during TI, if you're watching whatever particular match and you see something cool happen, it's just certain things. I'm not going to go into them because you won't care. But certain things will happen, and anyone who witnessed it and was like, it was in their screen when it happened, they'll get a bonus. And I guess the reason I don't have a problem with that is because you watch the games through the Dota client, so it's all through the same UI. So I don't know. I'll admit I'm a weirdo on that, and I haven't completely thought through why I don't like it. But
okay, well, good.
yeah.
Okay. Well, folks, that's our show. So if you want to send us emails for discussion or just to tell us whether you love us or hate us, you can email us at carouselpodcast@gmail.com. You can rate and review us on iTunes. I would love to actually see some stuff on there. That sure would make us feel good. Then you can buy my music at MusiM.bandcamp.com. You can join us live in the Twitch chat every other Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Central. I haven't checked to see if our show lands on Thanksgiving yet, but we will be skipping that one, obviously, if it does.
Skipping or moving or something. We'll figure something out.
It does.
Yeah, so we'll do something different that week. But
well, I don't know about you guys. I got the day off, so I totally could do it.
Thanksgiving is my very favorite holiday, and I'll be cooking.
Because your entire family and friends died, so you'll be at home alone. So.
Oh shit! Hold on, I just got like 40 emails. Hold on.
Anyway, okay. Well, did I remember everything? I think I remembered everything. So, follow us on Twitter, join the Facebook group, join the Discord. If you can't find the Discord link, send us an email, and I will make it again. I don't know why sometimes those Discord links just stop working, even though I tell it to be permanent. But, okay. See everyone next turn.
All right.
See you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Okay. Titles, which I wrote down none.
I did not write down a single title either.
I know Randy is going to read at least one of these wrong.
Oh, crap. Let me get my phone. I totally screwed up.
He heard about Patton Oswalt right at the beginning of the show, and he was like, it's an hour, huh? I'm going to sneak this shit in. So he's been sitting there watching this show. You know, every time we think he's laughing at one of our jokes.
Son of a bitch. God, titles is like my favorite bit. Okay. Well, at least Jake was bringing it. Okay. Brian Fargo's Patreon. Hopeful Mutilation. The Lion's Dick Teeth. Everything is Genitals. That's my current favorite. Go ring the goddamn bells, yeah.
No. It's yeah!
Yeah!
Like
okay.
I'm slapping you on the ass, like, go ring them goddamn bells!
Like that Batman E-card. The Watcher Furnace. I like it because I'm stupid.
I don't even remember what that was about. What was that about?
The Watcher Furnace?
I like it because I'm stupid.
I don't know.
You were probably talking about David S. Pumpkins. That's what we were talking about.
There is no way I was talking about that. You like that because you're stupid.
Incorrect.
I have no
Everything
idea.
is Genitals. I'm going. That's my vote.
I'm good with that one or the stupid.
I like it because those are both good. Yeah, I could go with either. With an asterisk on Everything is Genitals.
Yeah, Everything is Genitals is funny because that's how John described this board game with all these miniatures. So I was just picturing moving around these little vaginas.
Dicks, yeah.
Yeah, just like, oh, no, you can't share a space. That's dirty. Don't do that. I got to go with stupid.
I like
Can we all agree to stupid? I don't remember what it was from. I'm probably really going to regret it. But
Nah, we can do that.
Okay.
all right, cool.
All right.
Fine by
Sounds
me.
good. All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone who joined us live.
No.